Hello everyone, I am Pawan Malwal and in this video I'm gonna discuss about RDD operations. So in my previous video I had explained you the theoretical part of it where we had seen what is RDD, what are its limitations and the features, and we had also seen the RDD transformation, that there are two different kind of transformation. So let's get into the detail of it and try out some of the operations. So in this video we'll make use of some of the existing functions or the APIs of RDDs and try to create a small program or the base which will perform the basic operations. Okay, so let's get started. As you had seen in my previous video as well, that RDD has two different operations. Okay, and the main abstraction Spark provide is nothing but the RDD. Okay, so Spark RDD transformations are the function that takes RDD as the input and produce one or many RDDs as the output. Okay, so as you see here, we do the transformation. Okay, and there are two different kind of transformation. I'm going to explain you that as well. But as you see in this picture, the RDD, the parent RDD, and this is the child RDD or the result RDD. So this has a one-on-one relationship. Okay, so the child RDD is the result of the parent RDD. Okay, so that is called the narrow transformation. So let's have a look at the basic usage of it. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a small program, okay, using RDD APIs and the functions available. We'll make use of the map function, okay, and we'll perform certain actions on that. Okay, so let's go to the IntelliJ where I have created the program. I'll walk you through the step-by-step procedure, how it works, and I'll also explain you the code here. So this code is written in Scala. You don't need to bother about the coding part of it because it would take a while, but you don't need to be an expert of Scala to probably get started with some of the operations or some of the learning in Spark. Okay, so I use IntelliJ because for me I find the Spark shell a little boring, and the other thing is this gives you a clear picture, and it provides some of the helps as well, which would probably make you understand the program or the flow in a little better way. Okay, so probably I'll create a video on the installation of IntelliJ and installing a Scala plugin with it. You can do it in the Eclipse as well, but IntelliJ is something I feel comfortable when I write the Scala code. Okay, okay, so those things we'll discuss in probably next video. So as I was explaining you that there are two different kind of transformation, the narrow transformation and the wide transformation, and we apply actions on it. So this narrow transformation, if you use map function of RDD, it will create another RDD. Okay, and that RDD we can use and implement certain actions or perform some actions on it. So we are going to see how we'll perform reduce action on it. Okay, so these are the two examples. Oh yeah, and one more thing, as I was explaining you earlier, that we can create RDDs in two different ways. One is using the parallelized collection and other one is using the external data set. So parallelized collection is nothing but creating a RDD by using any of the available data structure. So here we are going to use the array. Okay, so now if you look at this program, so you don't need to bother about the structure of it. Probably you can just copy the same program. I'll either provide you the link of my GitHub, or I'll just put this program in the description of the video. Okay, and you can try it out. So what we are doing is we are creating an object of the Scala, and these are the packages which we are importing. Okay, and you see here, so this is the main line. So here we are creating the configuration object, right? So this is the way to do it. Sparkconf.setApp. Here we mention the application name, and here we mentioned, as we are going to run it in the local mode. Okay, the Spark we are running in the local mode, so we set it as a local. So these are some of the mandatory parameters you are supposed to provide while creating the SparkConf object. And once we get the SparkConf object, we can create the Spark context, which would be the entry point for creating the RDD, right? So here we create the Spark context, and the requirement for creating the Spark context is this. It takes it as a parameter. It's nothing but the conf object. Okay, this I'll explain you a little later. So this here we are defining the array or data structure, or this is nothing but your parallelized collection. Okay, so what this does is it will just create a array of these elements or integer. Okay, so IntelliJ, if you click Alt and plus, the plus button beside backspace, it shows that what this variable is. Okay, so it says this is array of integer. Okay, and we are using the sc.parallelize method, which would create a distributed data set out of this collection. Okay, and once you click Alt and press plus, it says that it is creating the RDD, or it's an integer RDD. Okay, so this is few things like IntelliJ, it makes it easy, and especially the Scala coding is quite easy in using IntelliJ. Okay, so I would recommend you to make use of this. So once we have the distributed collection, we can make use of the transformation here. So this is nothing but the action what we are performing. This was the transformation, right? So this is one of the method which is transformed your data set into a distributed collection, which is nothing but the array, and this is immutable. Okay, so we can perform, as we know that we can perform certain actions on it. So we are applying the reduce action on it, and what this action does is, so as this creates a RDD, what we are doing is it would have the map of it. So it will take each and every element and create a sum, or do the sum, apply the sum on it, or add the elements together, and finally we'll have the sum of all the elements. Okay, so let's run this program. You can right click and say run. Okay, so let's click on run. There was something wrong with the system, so I had to restart it. Okay, so when you say run parallelized collection, it will execute your program in local mode using the Spark. Okay, so this is the Spark UI. If you click on it, it would show you the Spark UI where your program is getting executed. Okay, you can get into the detail of it. We'll see this at later. We'll also go through the Spark UI and see what also it has created a single stage. Okay, and see this is the execution of your program. So one task was created as there was only one partition. Okay, so this was the reason I have kept this sleep time, because we can go and check the Spark UI. Otherwise, see, now our program execution is exited. So if you go back again to the Spark UI and try to check, you'll not even find this, right? So this, it just kills the applications after execution. So if you want to check the Spark UI, you need to create a wait time. Okay, and another thing is this setting up the log level. So if you don't do it, it will populate or put a lot of unnecessary log message here. So if you want to get into the detail of all that, you can disable it. Okay, so for now we'll just see that what exactly happened here. So as we were discussing, that this will create the sum of, or calculate the sum of all the array elements, and we see here that the result is for 55, which is the sum of all these integers in our array. Okay, so this was a very basic operation which we performed on RDD, and this was using the parallelized collection method. So now let's have a look at the another transformation, or the RDD creation method, which is external data set, where we will use one of the file, okay, or the log file, and then we'll perform some transformation and action on that. Okay, so the other example which I have here is the read external data set. Okay, so let's check it step by step. This is nothing but the similar thing. You write the application name. So this application, it shows in the Spark UI. I'll show you that when we are executing it. Again, we are creating the Spark conf. Okay, and with the help of Spark conf, we are creating the Spark context. Okay, this is to set the log level to error to avoid unnecessary logging. Okay, so this is the main thing. So this is the Spark context, with the help of which we are creating a RDD using the text file method of it. Okay, so if you say sc dot, it will show you all the operations which you can perform, or all the functions you can use. So I've used the text file. So this is used to read the text file. Okay, so RDD we use when we do not have a proper structure in our file. So mainly our log files, or if you have seen the Apache Tomcat logs, or any for that any log for that matter, will have unstructured data, right, where you cannot define the schema on top of it. So that is the place where we make use of the RDDs. So what this does is, it is reading this file. Okay, I'll just show you the format of the file. So this is our error.log. As you see, there are a lot of log messages here. Okay, so there's no specific structure of it, so you cannot define the schema. Schema is nothing but the structure of the data, so you cannot define the fields here. Probably we can do it with the help of regular expression, but for now we'll just consider as a unstructured file. Okay, so we are using this file. So your Spark context will read this file and create a RDD of string. Okay, it reads it as a string, and it would read all the lines and save it in a RDD. So what next we are doing is, from that RDD we are applying this transformation. Okay, so I'll just take you through the definition of the map function. So as per the definition given in the Apache Spark website, the map function returns a new distributed data set formed by passing each element of the source through a function. So the function what we are applying is nothing but the length function, and we are applying that on one RDD, our first RDD. Okay, and we are getting it transformed into another RDD. So if you press Alt and plus symbol, it would show that this is the RDD of string. Okay, so from the RDD of string, we are getting the RDD of integers. Okay, so this will have the length of every line. Okay, so if you see this, what our line lengths will have the length of every line. Okay, so it will create a map of it, and the key would be the line number, and then the value would be the length of the line. Okay, and next is the reduce, and as we have seen, the reduce is the action. Okay, so let's go to the definition of it. So reduce is nothing but the agree func action. So it aggregates the element of the data set using a function or FUNC, which is passed as a parameter. Okay, and the function should be communicative and associative so that it can be computed correctly in parallel. Okay, so in parallel means because we are applying it on a distributed data set. So we are applying it on a distributed data set. So what it does, it will go to all the data set or RDD and it will collect the information from it. Okay, so in this case it will collect the length of each and every line. Okay, and when you apply the reduce function, it will add the length of all the lines and it would give you the total length of the file. Okay, and ultimately we can print it using println method. Okay, and this is your total length. So if you click alt plus symbol on this, it says this is the int. So this is not the RDD. So once you perform action on RDD, you get a non-RDD result. So this is your variable which has the integer value and it is nothing but the length of the file. So let's execute this program. Okay, so I'll just increase the time of the wait time here so that we can go to the Spark UI and check. So let me rename this to probably external data set. Okay, so we'll say RDD external data set app. Okay, okay, so let's execute this. So right click and say run. So the execution started. I'll click on this link to go to the Spark UI. Okay, so we see the result here because I've given the wait time after the result. So we are already seeing the result and it is printing the length of the file, which is the length of the characters. I mean the total sum of the characters in that file. Okay, and if you go to the Spark UI, you see a job here and you see the application name what we have given. Okay, so click here, it will take you to the job and it will show you some more details about it. And see here, it had created one task. Okay, it has taken 0.2 second. Done on local host. Okay, executor ID is driver because it's a standalone mode, so everything is running on the driver. Okay, so let's go back to the program and we see the result here. Okay guys, so this was some of the basics of RDD operations. Okay, so go through it, try to understand it, try to refer probably the Apache Spark website or the documentation to get more idea of it. And it's very important that you understand each and every line here, you understand the flow when we are getting the RDD and when we are getting the non-RDD result. Okay, and how to print the result. Okay, so I think yeah, that's all in this video, and in next video probably I'll take another concept of Spark and give you some information about it. So thank you so much for watching this video and probably see you in the next video. Yeah, bye bye.